Welcome back to our channel. In today's video, we will dive in deep into the fascinating world of Kubernetes architecture. Whether you are new to Kubernetes or already have some experience, this video will help you understand the core components and how they work together. So, let's start it. Before we will dive into the architecture, let's quickly recap what is Kubernetes. Kubernetes is an open source container orchestration platform that automates the deployment, scaling, and management of containerized applications. It was originally developed by Google. Kubernetes is primarily written in Go programming language. Let's discuss the main key resource why Kubernetes is used. It's used for its scalability. Kubernetes allow you to easily scale your application by adding or removing containers based on the workload. It can automatically handle the distribution of containers across multiple nodes in a cluster, ensuring efficient resource utilization. Then next, high availability. Kubernetes provides built-in mechanism into ensure high availability for applications. It automatically restarts a container that fail, reschedule them to healthy nodes, and distribute the network traffic to the availability containers. Then next is load balancer and service discovery. Kubernetes includes load balancing feature to distribute network traffic across containers. It provides a built-in service discovery mechanism that allow containers to find and communicate with each other using DNS or environment variables. Let's understand the Kubernetes architecture. In Kubernetes architecture, we have one is the master machine, or we can say the control panel, and another is the worker node. In this case, we have two node like node 1 and node 2. This node 1 and node 2 nothing but a instance. You can say it's a EC2 instance. Means this is also one instance, and this node 1 and node 2, this is also one instance. In control panel, we have four components like Kube API server, etcd, control manager, and scheduler. This control manager is manage the actual state and the desired state. And in this Kube API server, user directly access to this Kube API server, where the user is written the manifest file. In this Kube API server, user can directly communicate with the manifest file. Let's move into the worker node. In this worker node, we have four components. One is kubelet. This kubelet is communicate with the master node. It you can see the this you can see the this labeling. It can communicate with the kube API server. Each node kubelet is communicate with the master node through the kube API server. Then second one is the kube proxy, which is provide the IP address to the pod. And third one is the container running engine, and fourth one is the pods. Inside the pod, we will deploy the our container. In the pod, we can deploy one container, or we can deploy multiple container also. But the best practice is to deploy one container in a one pod, because when the pod is deleted, the container will be also deleted. Let's understand the deeply the role of a master node. First is the kube API server. What is this kube API server? This API server interact directly with user. We apply YAML manifest to the Kube API server. Kube API server is front end to the control panel. As I told before, Kube API server receive the manifest file. So this is the front end to the control panel. Then next is etcd. It's store the metadata. It store in key and value format, and we can say it like a database. Kube scheduler. When user make request for the create and management of the pods, Kube scheduler is going to take action on this request. It handles pod creation and management. Then last one is the control manager. Control manager makes sure actual state of the cluster match to the desired state. If K8 means Kubernetes means the Kubernetes here is the K, and from this to this it's a 8 character, means this is a 1, this is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, means 8 and s. That's why sometimes it will call like K8s. If K8 is on cloud, then it will be control manager. If K8 is on non-cloud, then it will kube control manager. Let's understand the node components. Kubelet, it's an agent running on the node. I already told this kubelet is communicate with the master node through the kube API server and listener to the master mesh. Container engine, in the container engine we can say in our node the container engine is the docker engine, work with the kubelet work with kubelet, exposing the container on the ports. And the next one is kube proxy, assign the IP to the port. It required to assign IP address to the port dynamically. Then last one is the pod. It's the smallest unit in the Kubernetes. Pod is a group of one or more container. Let's understand the AWS EKS architecture. In this AWS EKS architecture, this is the kube control server, or we can say this is the kubectl server. This is the kubectl server, and this is the master, or we can say the control panel. This control panel is completely managed by the AWS. We don't worry about this. And this is the worker node. The only difference is in Kubernetes architecture and AWS architecture is the master panel of AWS EKS is completely managed by the AWS, and this worker node is managed by the user. This is all about the AWS EKS architecture. If you found this video helpful, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more exciting content on Kubernetes. Next video, I will upload how to install AWS EKS cluster using Terraform. Thank you for watching, and we will see you in the next video. Happy Kubernetes!